How are you doing? It is Thursday, January something something. Actually, no, I do know because it's my son's birthday. Happy birthday, Brody. I'm sure he watches my content. He's 30 and it's his birthday today. He's my youngest of three. What an amazing kid. I'm telling you, man, right? We can't say kid when they're 30. Dang, I remember turning 30 and really feeling like an adult finally. I don't know. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about? It's like crazy. All right. So today what we're going to talk about is why it is nearly impossible to lose fat when you are insulin resistant or if your liver is tired. Why is it so dang impossible? And why is that the part of the hamster wheel that we keep living on, thinking something will change, and alas, it does not until we address this, until we change the lens in which we are looking at things through. So welcome in. That's what we're going to chat about today. My name is Kirsten Liebelt. It's really nice to meet you. And I will not be on live tomorrow. Okay. So every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, I am live right here. Tomorrow, I am traveling. We're going to a business conference. It's only about an hour and a half away from my house, Rochester, Minnesota, home of the Mayo Clinic. So that's where I'm going to be. So I will not be here tomorrow, just so that you wonder, because I know somebody will ask, and which is totally fine. I love that y'all want to get all of the goods on insulin resistance all the time. I love, love, love that. So all right, if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. And if you're on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe as we start putting information up over there. So, over time, I became thoroughly convinced that just like my experience was in my 40s, where I slid into my 40s, I was insulin resistant. Didn't know that I was, like, the terminology didn't even really exist. Whatever. And my weight just kept going up and up and up. I am so convinced that this is what's happening with women all over the freaking place. You're insulin resistant. You don't know it. Maybe you know it, but it's why you can't lose weight. And so everybody else is telling you, all you have to do is pay attention to your calories. That's everybody else's conversation. That's what they want you to do. I'm going to go fix something on my TikTok. Hold on just a second. I'm going to up this. I can see it sliding on me. So hold on. I apologize. So everybody else wants you to focus on calorie in, calorie out. And to be really honest, that is old information. That is not helpful. There we go. Hold on. That is not helpful information for you guys. Because that is old science. And is it even science? I don't even know. Is it even science? I'm not sure. It's old thought process. It's old information. The food pyramid is old information. You don't know that I like they. I don't know that I like they. They. Tell Ruthie, I'm not sure what you were meaning. I'm sorry. I was so whatever with my thingamajigger. I will get it though. I mean, it'll come to me and then I'll be like, oh, that's what you meant. Okay. But I'm just telling you that that's what I believe will actually change your entire world. And every day when we come here and we talk about insulin resistance, and we can talk about the connection that there is towards, it's like insulin resistance is the core of freaking everything. PCOS and gout and type 2 and fatty liver and high blood pressure, and it's literally the base of everything, right? That in and of itself is very frustrating, because why are we not then dealing with the root problem? Okay, that's a good question, right? But more than that, have you been struggling nonstop with your weight, wondering why you can't burn any fat? Why does the fat still hang around, even though you've tried so many different maybe programs, maybe processes? Maybe you keep going back to an old faithful way of I'm going to intermittent fast and count my calories and work on the elliptical machine and whatever. I mean, I have a lot of people that in January tell me, I know that I need to pay attention to my insulin resistance because I just got diagnosed with something. But yet, on the other hand, I also just signed up for the WW point counting contest. And I'm like, have at it. I mean, I'm certainly not going to put down another program, but I will tell you that, as in those people that made those claims. I get it. That's so funny. Hey, Megda, good to see you. Happy Thursday. Good to see you. Yes, insulin resistance and our messed up guts. That's we have ruined with the crap diets and lies. It's so true. It is so true. But I will tell you this, the point system was not created for you. I'm just letting you know that. It's okay. I'm not saying that it's going to harm you. I'm not saying that it's going to whatever. I'm just telling you, it wasn't created through the same lens that we're going to talk about today. And if you are insulin resistant and this is why you can't lose fat, or if you already know you have a fatty liver, or you know that you have a liver that you've probably been a little hard on it, should always be wearing my t-shirt that says love your liver. Every day I could wear that t-shirt. It could be my uniform. So let's get into it. Why is this happening though? Why is this true? If you understand, I'm fully convinced that then you will stick to the blueprint of transformation longer than if you don't have understanding. Without understanding, I feel like you're going to just, like me, what does it matter anyway? And you're just going to give up. Okay. Now, I'll give you this information, right, to help you. And then know that we have another 5-day reset starting on Monday, February 3rd. In the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. It's our 21st one. Don't miss out. You are not behind. You still have time. You have time. Get your supplements. Get in the group. Let's talk about ingredient trade-outs. You can have your own story. You can have your own 2025 testimony. You lose 40 pounds in 8 months, lose 20 pounds in 5 months. Like, I've got many, 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 many testimonies. This can be your year too. Okay. So this is what we're doing. So if you're insulin resistant and or your liver is overburdened and toxic, and that might be all of us, fat loss becomes nearly impossible. Like, you guys, you're beating your head against a wall, right? Due to several metabolic dysfunctions. Let's break it down. Okay. So number one, the role of insulin resistant fat storage and fat loss. Okay. So insulin is a storage hormone primarily responsible for regulating blood sugar. Okay. When you eat carbohydrates and even your body converts into glucose, raising blood sugar levels. In response, your pancreas releases insulin to help shuttle the glucose into your cells for energy or storage. We talk about this a lot. So if you're on my content, you already know we talk about the delivery trucks. That's the insulin. We talk about the load. That's the glucose in your blood. And we talk about the storage units. Those are your cells. So the delivery trucks, insulin, are driving over to pick up their load, glucose, and bring it into all of the storage units. So if you're driving down a highway and you see door after door after door after door with all those locks on them, storage units, all the locks have been changed. So now your body can't get the insulin into the cell to give you energy. And when it can't get in there and it has all of this excess glucose, it just stores it as fat and leaves you exhausted because you didn't get energy into your cell. Okay, so we talk about this a lot. It's a storage hormone. It's primarily to help you regulate your blood glucose, but when it's like overwhelmed and it can't do that anymore, that's kind of the stinker, right? So your pancreas releases insulin to help shuttle glucose into your cells for energy or storage. Now, what happens when you're insulin resistant? Your cells no longer respond well to insulin. Nope, your cell says, no, thank you, I'm stuffed. So the pancreas pumps out even more insulin to compensate. Elevated insulin levels keep your body in fat storage mode rather than fat burning mode. This is literally the number one conversation. if you're insulin resistant and you're not doing anything about it, like I talk about supplementation all the time, the 3 that help with insulin sensitivity, changing out your food ingredients. If you're not doing anything about it, you're in fat storage mode. So stop expecting the scale to change. Stop expecting your measurements to change. Science. Okay, so you're in fat storage mode instead of fat burning mode, right? Does this make sense? I'm hoping this is making sense. Excuse me. Okay, I thought I missed something. I did not. Okay. So your cells are not responding well to insulin. Okay, elevated insulin, fat storage mode instead of fat burning mode. Lipolysis, fat breakdown, it's blocked. It's blocked because insulin directly inhibits the enzyme hormone sensitive lipase, which is responsible for breaking down stored fat. So your enzyme, so your pancreas also releases these enzymes. This is why, like when I talk about like the gut primer, one of the things that one of the 6 blends in the gut primer, you guys, is digestive enzymes. And those digestive enzymes are really, really important because our body normally produces these things in order to, get our digestion going, breaking down fat, doing all the things. But as we get older, or as our system kind of goes, we need to help it along. Just help it along. So reintroducing more enzymes back in. I not only take my gut primer, which has digestive enzymes in it, but then I take extra enzymes. So I don't know if you knew you could do that, but that is very, very helpful in your fat loss process. So it's responsible for breaking down stored fat. Since the cells aren't getting glucose efficiently, you experience low energy. This is why you have low energy, you have cravings, you have hunger. You're just so frustrated and you are being mean to yourself. And you're saying that it's all because you don't have self-control. You don't have willpower. And maybe there are some tracks that are running in your brain from having been a child. And maybe an adult said to you, all you do is overeat and whatever. You can never only have 1 serving, can you? Or whatever. There was something that my dad, now this is not actually, this will sound worse than it is, but I mean, just as an example, okay? So I was pregnant with my first child. Did I tell some of this the other day? Maybe. So I was gestational diabetic with him, took my blood 4 times a day. Still didn't do anything for 25 years when I started my supplementation. I entered my 50s, Hot Mess Express, starting this. I'm exiting my 50s this month. I'm down 3 sizes. Life is really good. However, I'm pregnant. I'm checking my glucose 4 times a day. Look at me, 4 times a day. And I'm gaining. I gained like 60 pounds in those 9 months of carrying my son. He was 9 pounds, 13 ounces. And you guys, we had so no money. Like we had so no money. Number one, come on, you guys, you remember, right? There weren't any maternity stores back then. Nobody was dressing cute. Everybody looked horrible. This was, he was born in 89. And so like nobody was marketing a maternity store. So I had no money. My mother made for me 2 smocks, 2 jumpers that you would like maybe wear a turtleneck under, because I live in Minnesota and he was born in January. And one of them was made out of like a weave of some sort, and like I have a name on the tip of my, kind of almost a tweedy weave. This sounds really, really fun, doesn't it? The second one, it was corduroy. It was a corduroy jumper. And I was so big. I mean, I was huge. And I had the ugliest tan shoes on the face of the planet. And I was going to Northwestern College here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And this is where I had met my husband. And it was so icy out. And I just remember like shuffling along, like little waddling penguin, trying to get to class without falling. But those were I literally had 2 jumpers and that was it. So I would rotate those 2 jumpers. And I remember my dad saying to me one time, and he was just, we were a teasing family. They thought that was normal. Obviously, that didn't play well for a lot of other pieces of my life, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm all healed now. But he said to me, he goes, hey, do you need me to take you down to Hoyguards? We'll get you some clothing. And Hoyguards was basically modern day Shields, or let's see, what else would it be? Like Camping World. I suppose that's for RVs, but they did a lot of camping tents and stuff like that. So he was making fun of me because I had no clothes. But anyway, but things like that can resonate in your brain, can't they? Don't you have something that you don't even have to say what it is, but just say yes. If you have had things that were spoken to you that you have had to stop believing are true, because seriously, it really does affect the way that you believe how you can do things. So over time, when you are then just gaining weight and the old ways aren't working for you anymore, you're thinking maybe, what's wrong with me? Oh, that's right. I'm just a loser. Oh, that's right. I don't have any willpower. Oh, that's right. And then fill in the blank, right? And you have to stop doing that, because this is a scientific conversation. So if I'm going to do anything for you today, let me help you with the scientific conversation so that you can stop being mean to yourself and hard on yourself. Remember, no shame. Remember, we do this without shame. And you can look at this from a third-party perspective. Oh, if my insulin is high, I can't burn fat. I need to get my insulin down. There's no emotion involved in that. Oh, if my liver is tired, we're going to get to that, I can't burn fat. No emotion. Okay, no emotion. Let's deal with the engine. Let's lift up your hood. Let's deal with the engine. No emotion needed. Let's get you on a blueprint of transformation, a track to run on, etc. So over time, excess glucose is converted into fatty acids and stored in adipose tissue, particularly as visceral fat around the liver, belly, and the organs. And this is why it's so dangerous. This is why I know that if I can get you to understand that if you can start working on your engine, yes, you changing sizes is very exciting. Yes, you not having to lay down to zip up your jeans, bonus, right? Yes, you starting to lose the orange pixie stick. I'm starting mine again on the 19th. I can't wait because it's a thermogenic. So I was giving my body 30 days of a rest. I can't wait to get back on it. I'll measure. But this is what's helping people lose inches. But it's not just the inches off of my hips, which makes me happy, right? It's underneath where you can't see. It's the visceral fat, because that's the dangerous fat around your liver, your belly, and your organs. We have to deal with this as we go into the next chapter. I'm turning 60. I recently heard from a pastor that your years of convergence, where you take all of your experience, you take all of your skill set, you take all of what life has given you, and you hit convergence right around the age of 60. From 60 to 83 is what they were saying were the years of convergence. Do I have time to have visceral fat around all of my organs? Do I have time for all of the calendar planning of doctor appointments and managing scripts? And no, I'm just getting started. Do you understand? I'm literally just starting my first year of convergence at 60. So I need to make sure that I am not weighed down with excess visceral fat around my organs, around my liver and my organs and my belly. And no. We're going backwards. We're undoing the BS that I did to my body in my 30s and my 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s. We're undoing. I started at the beginning of my 50s. I entered my 50s Hot Mess Express, 2X in size, and just steamrolling to type 2, steamrolling, like just head straight on. My dad had already died, type 2 diabetes, 63 years old. He was dead. Lazy Susan, full of medication. It was my entire life. He was injecting insulin. And I'm the only one in my family that avoided type 2. I'm the only one. Not because I'm smart, not because I had so much wisdom, such a granola person. No, Trader Joe's salt and pepper kettle chips. That's where I was, and Milk Duds and theater popcorn, and I couldn't get enough. Salty, sweet, salty, sweet, salty, sweet. So I was on the exact same hamster wheel that you are on. I know the exact same feeling. I know what food noise is. I know what like mental torment is. I know what all of that is because that's where I was. But praise God. And I mean that for real. Like in my stupor of stupidity, having done nothing for over 25 years since I was checking my blood 4 times a day, gestational diabetic, in my stupor of stupidity, somebody came along and introduced me to supplementation that would target my insulin resistance. Well, praise God. And then that also was the same time that I started the adaptogenic herbs that I talk about. I have adaptogenic herbs that I take every day because my brain fog and that depression feeling that you felt after having babies was coming back. I needed to know how to deal with all of that. And again, I wasn't wise, but God gave me answers. So now a little over 10 years ago, that's where I started. Now I'm exiting my 50s and woohoo! I feel so much better. I have energy. I wake up. I don't ache. I've lost 3 sizes and I'm not on any meds. No type 2 in sight. Okay. Today was on the news that red meat causes dementia. Nothing is ever said about sugar, grains, etc. Suzette, I'm just going to say it. Okay. So if you're on my content and you ever wonder about my opinion on that, I feel like that's criminal. I really feel like somebody needs to be held accountable for that. We should be done with that now. We should be done. 40 years of a food pyramid that has left us sick, obese, and medicated, inflamed, feeling like trash, hormones upside down, women going crazy, everybody being put on anti-sadness scripts. That is criminal. I can't even tell you. Apparently the Swiss just came out with a food pyramid that took meat off of it. Come on, you guys, just seriously, just pause for a moment. You don't even have to, if you're in a group of people in your world that still really believes that this is true, you don't even have to verbalize this stuff. Just let it ruminate in your own head. Did God really give us food? Did God really have us sacrificing animals and giving us food that was bad for us? When the caveman was running around and needed food, needed fat and meat and all of the amino acids for his body, for his family. Seriously? Come on. You just have to think this through for a half a second. Or do we think maybe that the agricultural industry, the FDA just banned food dye number 3. About freaking time. About time. Are we really going to listen to them anymore? Is this what we're going to do in 2025? It's been 40 years. How many more years do we need of being sick and insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes? It's reversible. This is not terminal. Their only answer to us should not be scripts. Their only answer to us should not be you can have 150 grams of carbs a day, except that you need to go from a pill to an injection of insulin. Follow the money. They are lying and lying and lying and lying and lying to us. And if we do not become our own advocate, we will just be sick and medicated and on scripts. And I am telling you what, doggone it, there is no way that I will go quietly into the night of prescription meds and living side effects and having doctor appointments on my calendar as though those are my social events. I will not do it. where they say, oh, you shouldn't take this natural herb. You shouldn't take this adaptogenic herb that could help you with how you might be feeling a little cray-cray because it might interfere with your anti-anxiety med. Shut up. Shut up. Instead, let's fix our gut. Let's change the way we're eating food. Let's stop listening to their advice. Gall, Suzette. I may be passionate, Suzette. I don't know if you've noticed. It ticks me off. Cannot believe we're still having this conversation. Cannot believe. Listen, my mother died with dementia. That is a hot button for me. I want to tell you to go jump in a lake. We took my mom out of facility, immediately put her on a keto diet, lowered her A1C, took her off of meds. We drove the bus because the bus they had her on had her type 2, unmet, having bathroom accidents in public places with dementia. Yeah, your advice sucked. Our decision, our design, a bazillion times better. So, all right, hold on. Megda is saying something to me. Excuse me. I know that's loud on the microphone. I apologize. Yes, I saw this as well on the news. Megda said, it's crazy. I feel more people are starting to realize that all the fallacy out there, that's the reason they're now putting this fake news out there. Oh my gosh, it's just maddening. Do you know how many women are dealing with anxiety and depression because they are seriously just deficient in simple things? Did you know that beef has the almost identical amino acid profile as your own human muscle does? Do you think that's a mistake? Oh no, instead we should be eating grain. Okay, you love it. Passionate and awesome. Preach, sister, preach. Woohoo! All right, let's go. I don't want to keep you guys forever, right? Okay, so we were talking about what happens when you're insulin resistant and how you literally are gaining fat in the areas you don't want to gain fat. And I'm not talking about your back fat, even though that sucks. I'm not talking about the fat inside of in between your knees, which sucks also, or your belly fat. I'm talking about like your internal belly fat, your internal liver, your internal visceral fat, which you don't want. Okay, so now let's talk about the liver for half a second, because insulin resistance is number one. The liver is number two, but it's all combined. It's all the same conversation. That's why when I talk to you about the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity, one of them is helping you with your liver. Like liver, insulin, liver. Like, let's get this little package working on your engine from the inside out. Okay. And if you're doing the gut reset protocol, the primer with the probiotic, liver. Okay. Because this is what you need to do in order to change the way that your body can actually release fat, burn fat. Okay. The liver is listen up. Everybody stop what you're doing. The liver. This is why a girlfriend made a t-shirt for me that says, love your liver. The liver is the metabolic powerhouse. Metabolic powerhouse, responsible for processing fats, detoxifying toxins, and regulating glucose and insulin levels. When the liver is overburdened, fat loss stalls right into the wall. And you're wondering why can't I lose any weight? Why do I stay the same size? So when the liver is fatigued and it is toxic, insulin resistance often leads to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, where fat accumulates in liver cells. This impairs the liver's ability to metabolize fats. Just the fact that it's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease should make you go, that must mean that it used to be just called alcoholic liver disease. Yes, but this is what we've done with the poor advice, with the food pyramid that's criminal. Okay, this is what's happened. These are the results. We're living the fruit, right? And we don't like it. Number 2, detoxification is slowed. The liver is responsible for breaking down excess hormones, toxins, and metabolic waste. If it's overloaded with toxins, sugar, seed oils, or processed foods, it prioritizes detox over fat metabolism. Remember yesterday we were talking about the cortisol care cart? So many of you reached out for that. That was awesome. You can actually, there are supplements that you can take that will help your cortisol levels, because stress is really paramount right now. Just so much stress going on, and it's hindering your fat loss ability. And insulin and cortisol are kind of like sister hormones messing you up, right? So we were talking about how the liver is responsible for breaking down excess cortisol. We said that yesterday, where it's going to help you dump excess cortisol. And therefore, love your liver. Love your liver. Hearts on Instagram. Love your liver. Because if you wanted to break down your excess cortisol, if you wanted to start metabolizing your fat, if you wanted to help your insulin and your glucose levels, you better start, like whatever is that? Shape up and fly right, straighten up. I'm getting all of my little cliches mixed up. You understand though, right? You're going to have to change a few things. You cannot be drinking all the time and expecting your liver to rise up and function at high levels. You would never, ever, 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 ever buy a brand new Cadillac Escalade and refuse to change the filter for 100,000 miles. You would never do it. But this is what we've done to our bodies. But you can start right now. You do not even have to delay. You can start right now, changing the way that your liver functions, and you can start loving your liver. Start with the trio, get yourself a gut primer, like liver, help, right? Because your body is begging for help, begging. So glucose regulation becomes dysfunctional. A toxic liver struggles to store and release glucose properly, leading to blood sugar fluctuations and even more insulin resistance. Oh, how frustrating is that? Like seriously, we're trying so hard to go backwards. We're trying so hard to turn it around, and it's leading to more. Then your bile production is impaired. You need bile to break down your food, right? The liver produces bile, which is essential for breaking down dietary fats. Poor bile flow results in fat malabsorption. Poor bile flow results in fat malabsorption. That's why a lot of times when people start the gut primer, which I'll show you the inside, it looks like a greens product, but it's not. Because there are fermented greens in here, that's helping your bile flow, okay? That's why then oftentimes when people start that, they begin to lose weight. But it's not just the moving of impacted waste, which is awesome and amazing. Hello, nobody wants to be constipated. But it is also because it is shoring up the inside of your gut, helping you to absorb nutrients and create that bile flow so you can actually, break down dietary fats and stop the fat malabsorption, meaning the body isn't efficiently using fat for energy. Now you start using fat more efficiently for energy. Go, come on. Who does not want that? Everybody wants that. Increased cortisol production, a sluggish liver contributes. See, it's all connected, you guys. It's like the pastor who said, I have one sermon. It's just 500 hours long. I have one sermon. It's the same thing, you guys. We have one conversation. It's just 500 hours long. In short, in a broader perspective, the conversation is hormones. Insulin, cortisol, GLP-1, it's all hormones. But it's 500 hours long and it's just all connected. Every last little bit of it. It's all connected. So a sluggish liver contributes to higher stress cortisol hormone levels, which further increases insulin resistance and promotes belly fat storage. In essence, if your liver is bogged down, it cannot efficiently burn fat. Regulate glucose or clear your toxins, making weight loss feel impossible. Do you understand now? This, I am convinced, all of that is why when you understand that and you start a supplement routine, understanding that it was targeted for this, your consistency will be on point. You won't fall off so easily because you'll be like, oh, that's right. Every time I'm taking my targeted supplementation, I am making a difference in how my liver is functioning, in how my insulin and my glucose is being taken care of, in how my visceral fat is being targeted, because that's what we're doing. Literally. Glucose, insulin, liver, visceral fat. Glucose, insulin, liver, visceral fat. Glucose, insulin. You get it? I mean, it's literally that targeted. It's that specific. So there's a vicious cycle: insulin resistance and toxic liver. Insulin resistance is keeping your insulin high, cannot be released for energy. A sluggish liver cannot efficiently process fats or detox the body, leading to toxic accumulation and further metabolic dysfunction. Excess stored fat worsens insulin resistance and liver toxicity, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of weight gain. That's a big fat welcome to my 40s. Cravings for carbs and sugars increase, leading to even higher insulin levels. Not because you're without willpower, not because you don't have self-control. Scientifically speaking, cravings for carbs and sugar increase. It's literally a symptom of insulin resistance, leading to even higher insulin levels. So stop shaming yourself. I'm just a sugar addict. I'm just a sugar addict. And you're going to be mean to yourself. Stop it. No, your body is craving something for a reason. Okay? Fatigue and slow metabolism make exercise and activity harder to sustain. Without addressing both insulin resistance and liver function, this is what sets what I talk about apart from pretty much everybody else, what they're talking about. Your body remains trapped in a state where fat loss is biologically blocked. Without addressing both insulin resistance and liver function, your body remains trapped in a state where fat loss is biologically blocked. How does that make you feel? How do you reverse it? Well, we talk about it all the time. We talk about how to change out your food ingredients. And for me, as an Italian girl, that was a really big conversation. It's why I started with supplements, because I was convinced that I couldn't trade out my food. Too many emotional connections, too many childhood memories, too many messages in my brain. Like, how do you ever give up pasta? That's ridiculous. So I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much not going to be doing that. Raised my kids on pasta, right? And no, actually, it was not the hardest thing that I ever did. Do you want to know what the hardest thing is that I ever did? The hardest thing was giving myself permission to have patience, to mentally assess what was going on with my connection with food, with my triggers, and allowing myself. No, that is true. But in a nutshell, in like a little tiny nutshell, the hardest thing that I did in this process was to not beat myself up, to not say mean things to myself during that 3 to 4 years that I was trying to figure things out with my food. That was the hardest thing for me. Stopping myself. Nope, no shame. Nope. I'm not going to receive that thought that dropped into my head. That was the hardest thing for me, but I thought food was going to be the hardest. So you do have to reduce your carbohydrate intake drastically. You do, because you have to stop the cycle. You got to stop what got you into the pickle to begin with. It's not because God made bad food, but we do have to shift the way that we're doing things, okay? You have to prioritize protein and healthy fats. Protein, 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 protein. If you will prioritize protein, think about it for just a second. If you were to Google today, nutritional value in kale versus nutritional value in beef, and look at it from a female perspective, then answer the question, is kale meeting what your body needs as a female when it comes to supporting your hormones, giving you the iron that you need, giving you the amino acids that you need for your body to function? Okay. Now, I know that that's not maybe, I'm only talking about that because that's kind of that superfood thought process. And I'm not saying that you should never eat kale, but I am saying that if we will focus on, instead of eating our salads all the time, like we've been told, the huge salad bars at every single pizza joint, that was like my life when I was in college, right? 1983. Concordia College in Moorhead, Minnesota. That was the first college that I went to. The salad bar was massive. Every Shakey's Pizza had a salad bar. Every Pizza Hut had a salad bar. Every fast food place put in a salad bar. Salad, 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 salad. That's not giving you the protein that you need to function. So if you will erase a lot of that thought process, can you see how we've been so indoctrinated? We've been so marketed to believe something. And then you're like, but I'm just hungry. Well, yeah, because you're freaking eating lettuce and expecting it to do something in your body. You know, lettuce is not the main portion of a food plate. Like, if you're going to give something up, give up the salad. It's not doing anything for you. Minimal, minimal, minimal. Eat the steak, eat the meat, get the protein. So if you focus on protein, you get up, you have eggs for breakfast. Man, your blood sugar is stable. It is like humming right along. You're full, you're satiated. Your body is like, yay, protein for my muscles, fat for my brain. Woohoo! That's what your body's doing. Okay, so protein. And then when you do that, what happens is your cravings start to go down. Emotional cravings don't go away. I get it. Stress cravings don't disappear right away. I understand, right? But still, what does happen is there's the natural decline because your body is now not searching. Because as you become more sensitive, as your door opens up again, your insulin resistant doors of your cells, energy is getting in. The door is opening. Oh, it's opening. It's opening. Getting that energy inside the cell again. Whoo. Now you're not chasing, like just chasing, sugar, carbs, quick fix, quick energy. Gotta have it. Your body starts to go simmer down. And that feels so good. So you do have to prioritize protein. And if you're starving all the time, ask yourself where you are on your good, healthy fats. You don't need to be adding fat to your coffee. You don't need to be adding fat bombs in your freezer. Like that will stall you out too. And then you'll wonder why you're not actually losing fat. Don't do that. Don't be crazy, but learn how to assess your body. And so you're eating and you're hungry. You're like, oh, because your body's still cycling, right? All the time. Your hormones are always like, they're working for like synchronicity. They want your body wants balance. It's seeking balance. So there will be times when you like wake up or during the day, you're like, oh, I'm just really hungry. You might need some good fat. And then that is a great opportunity to get some really good olive oil going on a salad or whatever, not the seed oils in the ranch dressing. I'm just telling you. But you know what I'm saying? Like, listen to your body. Stop fighting what your body's trying to tell you all the time. Intermittent fasting to lower your insulin and allow fat burning. One of the things is that when you are insulin resistant, if you're just eating all the time, You're in a constant state of releasing insulin, releasing insulin, releasing insulin to deal with the glucose that came from the food that you just ate. So that's why snacking, if you can back off on the snacking, eat like a really good high protein breakfast, like get up there, 40, 50 grams of protein, bam, 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 just really like pound it out, right? Straight protein. And then don't eat for 4 hours. That can be hard because it's habit. But pay attention, because I'll bet you anything you're not starving. You're not hungry. So you're wanting to eat maybe for emotional or mental or stress or whatever, you're bored, whatever. But it's not because you're actually hungry and you feel so satiated. Strength training to improve insulin sensitivity. We got to put on muscle, girls. We got to get muscles. We need to be stable. We want, like John Klusterman said, don't ever miss a leg day. Don't miss a leg day because you need that strength in your legs. And don't we want that? Like, come on, I'm going to be 60. I think about this stuff all the time, right? We need to be strong. We need to have like good muscle structure in our body, right? And then avoid processed foods and seed oils. That goes without saying. Become a one ingredient household. And that doesn't mean you can never combine ingredients. That's not what I mean. But for the most part, think about, you're going to have eggs. And well, I suppose chicken sausage really isn't one ingredient. It can be, I mean, other than seasoning. So maybe I guess that can be, but like eggs and steak or whatever. And, you get your spaghetti squash and you're not eating boxes, barcodes, and bags, boxes, or barcodes out the door. And then occasionally have a treat. Occasionally make yourself an almond flour mug cake or whatever. You know what I mean? But for the most part, if you become an ingredient household where you open up the cupboard and you kind of have to make something a little bit, it doesn't have to be hard, but it's not grabbing a pizza out of the freezer and throwing it in the oven. It's not grabbing the pre-made whatever, cereal out of a box or granola bar out of a box or, all of that stuff. It's actually real ingredients. And that's where I love teaching that in the group. So remember now the next 5-day challenge, the free 5-day challenge is February 3rd through the 7th in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. You can find the blue button right up there, you guys, on TikTok. And I like teaching that because when we do a recipe, you get just another piece into your repertoire of what you can make for yourself. In January, we did the spaghetti squash breakfast casserole. It's so good. And having something like that in your fridge to feed yourself during the week, it's brilliant. It's wonderful. It's so good. Okay. So basically, those are the things that you can do to really help the situation, because insulin resistance and your liver that is tired, that's why you're not losing fat. I'm super sorry. It's really, you have to change the lens as to how you're looking at things. You have to change the lens. And then you want to be able to reduce your carbohydrates drastically, prioritize protein and healthy fats, consider intermittent fasting, strength training, and avoiding processed foods and seed oils. And then I always tell everybody that what I did was I started with targeted supplementation in order to launch my body towards insulin sensitivity. And there are so many of you that reach out to me because you can tell that if you could just if you could just calibrate your engine just a little bit, that you would get different results. And you're right. You're absolutely right. You can take supplementation that will bring down the insulin and the sugars and get your liver to start detoxifying on a different level and start targeting that visceral fat that's around your organs and in your belly and your liver. You can do that. And I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in the world. It is no different than going to a mechanic that lifts up the hood of your engine and says, let's change out a filter and add some fluid and get everything running again. So it's not clunking along. It's like humming. Okay. So that's the difference as to what I did on the front end. And then I started to change out my food ingredients. And now in my 50s, I've lost 3 sizes. I'm not on any meds, no type 2 in sight. I'm the only one in my family that avoided type 2, and I will be 60 here shortly. So the conversation that I have with y'all every single day, and you can always reach out to me. If you're on Facebook, you can put stuff in the comments and it will stay there. On Instagram and TikTok, you have to like message me, okay? Because it won't stay there. So message me if anything that I talk about you want to know about. The trio is a really great place to start. Really, 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 really good place to start. Helps with your insulin, your sugars, your liver, and your visceral fat, all in one 3-part package, right? They are 3 separate supplements. They're not together. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. You can ask me for the cart, the trio cart. This is where I started a little over 10 years ago. Don't take my word for it. When you are on my site, my first last name.com, there is a trio testimonial button, and it's in many places on the site. You take the time and you read through the testimonies because they're pretty amazing. And this is just how this goes. Then if you want to add to, or if you already know that you need to do a gut reset protocol, you guys, there's nothing else on the market like this. It doesn't, I don't think it exists like this. It's a primer and it has 6 different blends in it. Digestive enzymes, pre and postbiotic, fermented greens, alkaline spices, fiber from fruit and vegetable extracts, all off of organic farms. Like, you're not adding toxins to your life. Let's not be adding toxins. Let's get things that are off of organic farms. Okay. Just telling you, like, don't go backwards. Don't do that. And this has been insanely helpful for anybody who has constipated, has indigestion. I have somebody who has short gut syndrome, and she was very concerned about whether or not that was going to be okay for her. Green light on that. Other people who they could not sleep for years, now they're sleeping. People losing like 6 pounds in their first month just by changing that one thing, adding that to their morning routine. Suzette says the gut primer is the best. Thank you, Suzette. I honestly, when I first started taking it, I was like, oh, because I'm not a tea person and it tastes like tea. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? But the results have been so amazing that I'm like, now it's no big deal. I just take mine. I already moved my cup. I take very cold water, just about this much cold water. And I take 1 little scoop and I put it in there and I use my frother and I froth it up and I just drink it down with my morning supplements is what I do. Very gingery, turmeric-y, tea-like. Some people love it because it's tea. Some people, like me, are not super excited about it. Some friend of mine calls it Christmas in a cup because he can taste the cinnamon. I'm like, more power to you, whatever. But what it's been doing for my gut over time has just been phenomenal. Like, I was never probably going to piece together all of those benefits. I just wasn't going to probably do that. So I'm thankful they did it for me. And then I take a probiotic with it. This one is a powder probiotic, the Balance one. And because there's not a probiotic in here on purpose, because probiotics are actually super sensitive and you don't want to kill the live active cultures. You don't want to do that. So if a product is saying, that they have the probiotic in there and that, you can just whatever, be as crazy to it as you want to be, whatever, you might not even be getting the live cultures. So you want to make sure that you're not doing certain things. And you also don't want a probiotic to be heated up. Do not take your probiotic with hot coffee. Don't, if you heat this up like a tea, which you can, and drink it like a hot tea, don't take your probiotic at the same time. Okay. And then I just put this on my tongue. Okay. But there is another probiotic, and I just got done talking to my girlfriend about it this morning. It's the stress one, and that one is a pill. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't know, and I said this yesterday, I didn't know that a probiotic could be, I get it. There's a gut-brain connection. 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut. That's why, you know, if you can get your gut aligned, then you can maybe get off of anti-sadness and anti-anxiousness things, and you can I really like, this is what I talk about all day, right? Like, this is normal. Deal with your gut. Well, when they released this probiotic, which was maybe about a year ago, it literally says that it will help with your mental status. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I mean, that's great. And I'm hearing the testimonies and all the stuff. And it didn't really hit me until I talked to my daughter like this week. She goes, Mom, when I'm having a stressful day with the kids, I take the 2 of those. I think it's 2. Oh, I'd have to read it. It might be 1. Doesn't matter. I pop that, Mom, and it takes the edge off of my stress. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, I guess I needed her testimony. I don't know why, but because she's in a different season of life. She has 3 kids under 3. They're all 18 months apart. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, hold on. I have to do a puzzle thing over here. Well, that's very pretty red leaves on TikTok. Anyway, and she says it takes the edge off. So that's, you can choose one of the 2 different probiotics. And then the last one is the actual fat burner. If you guys want a thermogenic, if you're like, listen, girlfriend, I just need to get ready for the summer. Like, I'm really not wanting to deal right now with all sorts of different pieces to my puzzle. I want one piece to my puzzle. And if you really do want to like lose inches off of your waist and your hips, you're going to want the orange pixie stick. That's what you're going to want. And you can find it right there on my site. There's a little fat burner emoji. And it is such a great clinical dose of an extract that targets visceral fat. So the beginning of this conversation, when we talked about targeting visceral fat around your liver, around your organs, your belly, that's what you want. Go 90 days on, take a month off. I'm right in the middle of taking my month off. I'm going to start back up again on the 19th. I will measure myself this time, but I love your testimonies. Lost an inch off my waist and hips, lost a half an inch. And they tested this for up to a year. They didn't test it just for 1 round. And it kept giving results. Love science. I love me some science. A little slice of heaven. You love it, Suzette. It's so good. I'm going to put that up too. I know. It's so good. It's literally, it's like candy. And I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. I'm not like, oh, it sort of tastes like candy. No, it tastes like an orange pixie stick, just like when you were a child. And I do remember buying the pixie sticks that were the huge ones, where the plastic tubes were like this big. And we would walk to the little corner store and we would buy these huge things of sugar. I mean, honestly, the stupidity. But anyway, I loved pixie sticks. We would take Jell-O packets out of our mom's pantries, strawberry, raspberry, strawberry, banana, with all of the sugar. And we would take the packets and we would put them in our backpacks. This was like elementary school. And then during the day, you could just go and you would dip into the Jell-O. I mean, if you guys never did this, like, we listen and we don't judge, okay? We listen and we don't judge. I should probably do, so that's why she's saying it's a little slice of heaven, because it is. When you are off of sugar, I mean, when I tasted it, I'm like, oh, dang it. I'm not going to be able to recommend this to my people. Then I sent it off to a customer, and you're probably on here. Thank you. And she tested her sugars and gave me her results. And I went, okay, I can recommend it. Then I basically was like, but what does this really do with insulin resistance? And then I found out, oh, it actually targets insulin sensitivity because it's working on your visceral fat underneath. And I'm like, game on. So now I talk about it all the time. It's such a good product. But anyway, whatever you need today, reach out to me, okay? Messenger, Instagram, any of my messages, you can always reach out to me. If you see a phone number to text, you can text me. You can tell me you were on my live. It's not too late to get started. It's not too late to have a different perspective and vision for what you're going to do now in February as we kind of now speed up towards the spring. You know what that feels like, where you're like, oh, it's coming. And I just, you're trying to get out of that mental place of the holiday sucked. I gained weight. I'm such a loser. Like I can't seem to gain my traction. Like I feel like I'm stumbling. I feel like I just can't gain back my control. I don't know how to stop the cycle, whatever it is. You can. And you know what? Doing the 5-day resets that we do, like number one, they're free. You don't even have to sign up for them. You just have to get into the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. It is important to be a part of community where people are winning and where people can actually help you and encourage you and give you, excuse me, their testimonies. That's why I always say, go to my site. Look at the trio testimonies. Don't take my word for it. You need to hear other people winning. You need to see other people getting results so that it raises your hope inside of you. I say, get your hopes up. Stop believing that you are broken, that you are willpower, self-control broken. It's not true. You can make all of these changes without any shame. And if that's what you've been looking for, you found the right group of women, the most encouraging women you would ever want to be around. I'm just telling you, like for real, amazing. So if you need something, let me know. And I apologize, TikTok. I'm so missing all of your comments and stuff, but I apologize. All right. Tomorrow I am off. I am traveling for business, going to a conference in Rochester, Minnesota. So I will not be around tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. But that is what we do Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We are right here. Okay. So we're talking about insulin resistance, weight loss, fat loss, all of the fallout of insulin resistance, how to avoid it, how to turn it back. Is it reversible? People getting off of scripts, people dropping weight, 20 pounds, 40 pounds. Like, what do you want? Okay. And it's a completely different lens to view everything through, and it works. It's amazing. So there you go. You have a blessed day. And if you need something, let me know. And I can't wait to see you guys back on Monday, and have a terrific, terrific day. And don't forget to reach out if you need anything. So see you later, you guys. Have a great day.